And we are live. And because of that comment, Jose, we waited 7 minutes. We were ready.
Yeah.
We were here. And then you made that comment.
We're ready to go.
Why.
And I was first.
Yes, for once.
Exactly. Matt, well, and part of it was like, no way, if we keep pushing this later and later, no way I can continue to be late. So I made dinner. I had like the kids were good. And here I am. I was ready to go. I fixed my computer because my wires were all over the place from the damn watch along we did. Here we are.
All right. So I don't know. It's kind of a slow news day. Not much to talk about.
Slow news week.
Yeah. Who knows at this point.
So we're just going to kind of feed off of whatever's in the comments,
Yeah. Nothing much to talk about, guys. Holy shit. What the fuck is going on, guys? This whole week just imploded. It's crazy of what's going on and what's being said. And also, God dang it, we got to talk. All you fans out there, we got to talk to you guys. All right. We're going to have a little discussion here, heart to heart. And I just want to preface something too about the title a little bit is that, I put the numbers don't lie, but people do. And this is about certain people on Twitter. I'm not saying right now certain, higher ups or other people are lying, but there's just some things that I watch some people manipulate some stats and shit just to make a point. They manipulate things. And we just got to talk about that. What the heck?
We got to talk about this. We're a couple of minutes in. You couldn't even wait for Matt to just, shill himself out there and whore himself out there, I should say, and beg for a new member. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You are awesome. Appreciate you.
It's a Carhartt shirt. What the fuck? God damn, this is quality shit, son. This is Carhartt.
What's wrong with it being a scrub top?
Ain't no male nurse.
What the fuck? You could be my male nurse.
Hello, nurse. Oh yeah. So we're gonna definitely talk about the Chris Terrio rant, some of the parts of the Ray Fisher thing, but mainly that Chris Terrio rant. And as you can see, fucking Shane's name here, number one douchebag. Oh crap!
Sign me up.
Am I freezing or are you freezing? You started looking like you were freezing there.
I do see the little icon thing up here. Oh, hold on, it'd be up there. It's showing that like we're buffering a little bit. It's kind of rough. All right, there we go. I think we're good. But I was not. I hope everyone who followed us and joined us last week for our live stream. I'm
just fucking.
I hope you guys enjoyed last week.
It was a joke, dude.
Afterwards,
don't ever take anything that I say serious. All right. Well, except for other things, but anything directed towards the comments, trust me, I don't care.
Nothing.
We're just, you guys are our friends. We're talking to you like we talk to each other.
Exactly. Like, making fun of each other all the time. Sometimes. You're so nice.
Shane's on auto tune. Yeah, I can hear him skipping a little bit.
Oh, really? Dang.
Yeah, it just did it again.
I was just talking about how good my computer is, and well, rip. I don't know. I restarted it. I don't know what to do. Hold on, let me close stuff. Anyways, what I started to say is last week, when we got off, we were done. I'm like, this thing. Yes, our episodes go off the rail, but this went way off the rails. We were talking about just the most random, obscure nonsense, jerk off stories, and you name it. So I was like, I hope we don't lose subscribers. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was entertaining. And then this week, at the start of it, I'm like, okay, we can maybe talk about a decent amount of stuff, maybe make it an hour 15, and then boom, stuff starts dropping. And I'm like, all right, ready to go. Now we don't have to talk about, peace-ons and all that nonsense.
Yeah, it's a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about here. So we're going to actually kind of start off a little thing here. We're going to talk about Godzilla versus Kong actually first, because this is going to lead into all this crap that happened during this week. So we're originally going to do a spoiler or non-spoiler review of it, and Shane sucks, so we weren't able to do it. And because he doesn't prioritize this, he has like this real job that he cares about. It's just ridiculous shit, guys. So stupid. I don't know what he's doing.
I'm so sorry. Please forgive me.
Please forgive. Anyway, so I just I don't. So we're just going to kind of talk about a little bit about
Don't start. Don't start. We both clicked on it. Don't. Yeah, I blame you. I'm pretty sure it was you who sent it off the rails last week.
Oh yeah, him. Yeah, David. Maybe. Yeah, I thought you were blaming me. I'm like, what?
Oh no. No. Well, I mean, you didn't help.
Oh, so no spoilers. Yeah, we don't really plan on spoilers or anything like that. What's up, Shadow? Oh, kidding. Oh, fuck you, Ben. I didn't really plan to go into too much spoilers, but I guess I don't know what there's really spoil, to be honest. Anyway, I do find it funny though that as these movies progress, they just continually get worse and worse, and they just kind of lose anything that was worth anything from the previous movies. Like, at least we're very well known for not liking King of the Monsters. At least, especially me. I did not like King of the Monsters. I thought it was one of the worst written movies that ever come out of fucking a backstage lot. I mean, porns are written better than that damn shit. And I believe porn stars more than those guys, the actors that were in that. You know, just anyway, it really was bad. But at least, like, with the fights, there was some epic imagery, especially when you think back, like, to Rodan versus Ghidorah and stuff like that in Mexico. And then, you know, Ghidorah gets on top of the volcano. They put the wings out and everything. Beautiful imagery. Like, it looks great. It looks great. At least the movie looks great.
King of the Monsters or
Godzilla King of the Monsters. Yeah.
Okay.
So on this one, now they've gotten rid of that. So we have the shitty writing still. And when you've now gotten rid of those epic moments that you have with those monsters, and now Godzilla is like, he's on, I don't know, he's some kind of on Adderall or something because he's moving way faster than he's ever moved before, and he's just booking it because he's got to keep up with Kong, right? And I mean, it was okay. I had fun. It made no sense. The story sucked. Everything about it really sucked. I did like, though, Mechagodzilla laying down one hell of a beatdown on Godzilla. I was like, dude, this is like
spoilers.
They are burying him right now. They are burying him. Oh, he literally said, "Kidding." He fuck him. Anyway, about the spoilers.
That was one thing I had heard before watching the movie, and I kind of wish I didn't know.
I heard about that. They showed it like, briefly in the trailer. I saw somebody.
Oh, really?
One of the trailer shots. It was like a super brief trailer shot. They like enhanced.
Yeah, I saw one of the spoilers. I'm like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. And then it's when it actually started building up to it. I'm like, damn it, I already know where this is going.
Right, I see someone there put it. Reminded me a little bit of BVS. There's actually two moments that didn't.
Martha.
Well, the laser beam struggle I thought was pretty cool.
Yep,
you know that had some reminiscence,
and
I don't know.
To be almost, it felt like a direct nod.
No, it was almost virtual. It was almost virtually identical, and like, and then the and I don't know why, but when, like, you know, evil man number one of Apex there, I don't even remember the character's name. No clue what his character's name is. When he's standing there trying to give his big rousing speech, and the Mechagodzilla's coming from behind him and stuff, and he turns around and he goes, "Oh shit!" It just totally reminded me of Affleck's Batman when Doomsday comes. So I was like, "Hey, that gets me a yeah." Just no Wonder Woman fell down from the sky, you know, to help him. Maybe Mothra should have came down.
That would be sweet. And Q Hans Zimmer.
Anyway.
Man. Yeah, exactly. One of the two. It could be Q Junkie. I don't know. Whichever.
All right, what'd you think, man?
I think you hit the nail on the head with I had fun, but the story was terrible. Because I surprisingly, I thought the movie looked good. It didn't have those epic moments like what you were talking about. It kind of built up to them from King of the Monsters, but I felt the movie visually looked good, and I was glad I went to the theater to see it. I was glad that there was the surround sound. I thought the fights were pretty awesome. The storyline was trash. I felt the one side with it was following Kong was actually kind of interesting to me. The other side that was following Millie Bobby Brown and and those two guys. The one guy was pretty funny. The podcaster, he had his moments, but it just seems so.
You don't know any of these characters' names,
right?
You know Millie Bobby Brown, the actress, but you don't know what her character's name is. She's been in 2 movies.
Right. Exactly. Do you remember?
No, I have no fucking clue.
Okay, good.
It's just my point. Right. It's just my point. Chris Terrio laying some pipe today. Yeah. Oh man.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna
get there. We're that's definitely trust me, that made me giddy inside seeing some of that stuff. So it's finally being revealed.
No, we said no spoilers. But yeah, I surprisingly I walked out of the theater and I couldn't help but laugh. It had some tropes. It had some okay.
How can we forget? They yelled it all the time.
Never
King of the Monsters.
I never would have guessed that.
Where are you? Oh yeah,
Samsonite.
Home.
Oh yeah.
She was in a bathtub with one hand.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Anyway.
Man. So you thought the conspiracy theory dude was annoying. I thought at moments he was annoying, but he had some funny things that's all he was. He was comic relief. The story, the plot conveniences were way too, or the plot points were way too convenient. There's ton of things that were just like keeping the movie going. It wasn't very well written, but I don't know. I feel like after King of the Monsters, I knew what to expect going into this. That it was just going to be, a mindless type action movie, and I enjoyed it just for that. And so I was surprisingly, I walked out. I'm like, okay, cool, that was awesome. I would probably throw it on again, but it just was not. I want to talk spoilers a little bit because there was a couple of moments where I was like, no, they're not going to do that. No, okay, good. Wait, they kind of did. Damn it. Just like towards the end, there's so many tropes and just nonsense, but it was fine.
Oh, that's a walking, talking cliche. I mean, the movie looked fine. Like the CGI on the monsters, it's fine. I don't say anything like that. I mean, and of course, some of the areas they're in is fine. I mean, some of the green screens suck nuts, but I mean, it was okay. I mean, but again, the story was, and I think someone somewhere in there was talking about the WB and stuff like that. I mean, technically, this is a legendary production, but I mean, I know what you're talking about because the WB runs, and yeah, this is definitely, I guess, probably when you look back at it, I think Wingard, he made some comments about, or maybe he didn't make some comments. Maybe there was just some people out there speculating some things, but this basically, like some people were saying, this is the Whedon cut of Godzilla versus Kong. But I think really, but really, to me, when you look at it, it's more of the suicide. It's the air cut. I think, it's the Suicide Squad of the whole thing. It's the same director and everything, and he was given pages, given some things. Hey, make this more fun. Change this. Yada yada yada. All those different type of things. So, it sucks, man. It sucks. It's like, WB and those guys over there in Burbank. They were kind of known for being director-driven studio, and just in the last decade or so or more, they've just become the opposite of that, and they've just been trying to wrangle everybody in as many directors as they can to just do what they say, and I blame the MCU for
it. Probably accurate.
Yeah. It's every time you keep listening to reviews for certain movies and stuff, and it's like, everybody keeps trying to, it's like they're trying to make these movies like funny and like the MCU, but there's some movies that need to be serious. And I'm like, yeah, but you're the people that freaking you're the one that freaking said that you are the ones that love these MCU movies, and like these movies need to be more like these. We need to have humor and action and blah 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 and all this stuff. And now some people are bitching that it seems like all these movies are like that now. So it's just kind of funny to me. It's just kind of funny. I mean, that people now, I think, are finally, the blinders are off and seeing how, I'm not saying the overall thing, but I'm not trying to put the MCU down or anything, but it's definitely thank you.
Thank you.
It's definitely, it's definitely the impact of those movies and people saying those other movies should be like those movies. And now we're dealing with the aftermath of that. And people are starting to see that now. And yeah, there we go. I guess Scorsese had a point. Yeah, it's exactly. I mean, the movies, it's not like the movies were fucking gold before, like a lot of them. I mean, there's still some that were pure, studio production, committee driven movies. But man, it felt like there were some that just had a little bit more freedom. You get those little ones every once in a while that were just free of that stuff. But now it's just like, it's either super indie film, something you've never heard of, or any of these blockbusters are just so destroyed by the fact that they think they need to have humor because of what happened to Batman versus Superman, the lack of joy in the world, and lack of what the hell is it? Joy. What was the other one?
fun.
Fun,
Was
thank
it
you.
fun?
Yeah. Joy, fun, humor, just all that levity. And now they think that's the winning formula. And we're going to be stuck like this until finally people get their heads out of their asses. Oh, well, thank you very much. Whatever hell is a PHP, I'm down for it. 50 of those bad boys.
Do you think the Snyderverse will be restored? Well, we'll see.
I don't know. Maybe in actual movie form or series form, there's a chance. There's always a chance. But as time goes on, it just feels like, and now that actually enters us perfectly into this moment with WB.
Thank you for the segue. Weird
Thank
lad.
you so much for your 50 PHP segue.
Yeah, exactly. Y'all down with PHP? Yeah, you know me.
You know me? Yeah. So then we have now, what was exactly the verbiage that was used? Sorry, guys. So, in I believe it was a Hollywood Reporter article, HBO Max came out and said Godzilla vs. Kong had the largest viewing audience than any other film or show on HBO Max since launch. Now, this was an official release. And even what's funny is even the person writing this article put Warner Brothers said without providing numbers. Like that's something they put in the article. Like they're just kind of like giving this blanket statement. They're just saying this. So then obviously some take this and guess what's a hot property right now? Godzilla versus Kong. What's the next biggest hot property? The Snyder Cut. So unfortunately, some people decided to take that and say, and by taking this statement at face value, at its value, saying that it's the largest viewing audience than any other film or show on HBO Max since launch, there were some articles we got. Godzilla versus Kong has, beats the Snyder Cut in viewing numbers. Now, if you believe this at face value, that's true. If that is accurate, that is true. Because you don't need numbers then. If that statement is correct, then yes, Godzilla vs. Kong is their largest viewing audience. Okay, fine. But we don't know how much. It could be by 1. It could be by 1,000,000. We have no idea. And it feels like, and we're going to make an official video on this one, a real streamlined video about this later on, because it's starting to really irk me. And just watching people kind of consistently kind of fall for it is really starting to bug me. But so Warner Brothers puts out this statement. Some journalists, some sites run with an article. Some of them have these titles in it. Then, of course, there's the backlash from the fans that think like, okay, well, we don't have numbers. How are you making such bold statements and everything like that? But I'm thinking like, why aren't you guys attacking? Well, not attacking. Let me rephrase that. Why aren't you guys calling out WB? Because they are the ones that put this statement out. And what they're doing is they're literally that asshole that starts a fight, but then steps back and doesn't do shit.
And starts a fight with words.
Yeah.
They say stuff. And
like in a bar fight. Picture that. Like a bar fight. They're the ones that kind of start the commotion and everything and then step back and let the rest of the people in the bar start fighting. And that's what WB is, that asshole in the back doing. And it sucks because now you're watching fans and journalists and bloggers run at each other like Persians and Spartans, just slamming into each other and fighting over this one statement. And it sucks. It sucks to see this because then what WB gets to do is say, look, see, the fans are toxic. They're fighting with everybody now. And it feels like such a setup and it's driving me nuts. And unfortunately, a lot of people fall for this. A lot of people fall for it and start attacking the individuals or start attacking the sites when really it's WB that's manipulating everybody. And it's just, I'm like, and they're getting away with it too. And, we talked about this a little bit before, is that they're basically using journalists and bloggers as meat shields on this shit. And it's driving me nuts.
Yeah, I think that's a great analogy. I think WB's the Lex Luthor in this situation, kind of the puppeteers behind the scenes. And exactly, it's kind of what I was thinking as well in terms of like the numbers that are being released. I don't doubt if you're saying Godzilla versus Kong was bigger than Zack Snyder's Justice League, okay, sure. But you got to look at like the comparisons in terms of the marketing that was behind one versus the other. The China release, things like that. I'm a little bit surprised that even though Godzilla versus Kong got a theatrical release along with the HBO Max, that it still did that well. So I guess that bodes well. But the amount of marketing that was so different between the two movies, and exactly like you said, to the numbers, what's the level that we're looking at, because we don't really know. We're just kind of basing certain things off of just different articles and whatever narrative that WB wants to paint. And this is what, not just with this, but with information in general, is what's so frustrating to me, is because people will put out specific parts of information and then that's law. I've seen so many people on Twitter that are taking things way out of context. They're painting their own, and their blue check marks, they're painting their own story on, yep, this is exactly, Zack Snyder's Justice League wasn't as popular as what people thought. Which, I mean, if it isn't, then can we at least see evidence to that states that shows that? But no, and that's information just in general that the media, bloggers, whomever is so irresponsible. But the way that they take certain things and they just put it out there. And WB right now is controlling the narrative. I think Ann Sarnoff, unfortunately, she has a an agenda to a certain point, and whomever else is kind of backing that, and this is what they're putting out. That they may not be able to control what gets released in Canada and what gets released elsewhere, but for some reason they can control some of the media outlets in America. And here we are. We've seen a lot come out of it's crushing it in Canada and it's crushing it in the UK or whatever the case may be.
UK, India, Russia. Yep. It's breaking HBO Max on launch and HBO Asia at launch. Just all these different sites were crashing when it was dropped.
Yep.
But then you look at this. So now HBO Max said that Godzilla vs. Kong was their biggest debut, right? Their biggest audience of watching, right? So then we get to now. Really, all we have is third-party figures, right? We got the Samba TV stuff, which said 1.8 million people watched the Snyder Cut. And when it premiered weekend, and 2.2 saw Wonder Woman 84. So that's like the closest we got to like good hard data on some things. Then you got a couple other numbers that are bounce around here and there. But then you get this thing right here. So I'm going to share this bad boy. So then you get this ridiculous, stupid chart, right? All right. So this is hilarious. So Variety printed this stupid thing. And
I hate Variety, by the way. If you ever read an article, you can't go back and reread it because they want you to sign from some stupid subscription.
Yeah, who wants to make money on this shit?
Do it like everyone else. Advertisement.
Oh, yeah, then you can't click through the ad. Anyway, all right, so this ridiculous, stupid thing, all right? And this is hilarious because this totally reminded me of like shitty baseball stats. It's like this guy, he's the first catcher over the age of 35 to hit a home run while it's slightly windy on April Fool's Day. Like that's kind of what this felt like. Like this is the kind of stats right here. Weekly percent share of time spent with streaming services among U.S. TVision panel members. The fuck is a TVision panel member? I have no idea.
The TVision is every once in a while. I was like loosely. I had to refresh my memory because I was loosely familiar with TVision. Every once in a while, I get a wild hair, and I'm very fascinated with statistics, specifically statistics around ratings and things like that, because we don't get them very often. Sometimes it's wrestling. Sometimes it's, I'm curious about sports and certain things that draw. And where people are getting their information, how they're getting their information. So basically, TVision is it's an opt-in service, which most of them are opt-in anyways. Right. And apparently, they put
just like
box.
Nielsen. Think of Nielsen, their old Nielsen cable ratings and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're opt-in. They're it's X amount of people, and it's a it's a box that they put in your house. The surprising thing to me was, from what I'm familiar with TVision, is they're more of like advertisement driven. They are trying to show right? Maybe I did. I think it's one of those bums. But so TVision is looking for who is watching ads, how much are they watching ads, how much of it is physically being watched. So not just playing, they're not pulling the stream, what is actually being watched. That's what they are looking at. So yeah, to your point, this is trying to paint a specific picture. And I'm not saying these numbers are wrong, but it's trying to show, look, there was a spike in actual data at these moments, that you could see that there's a drastic spike here. You can see another drastic spike, and they're saying, yep, these people are watching. I'm sure they have a very broad spectrum in terms of clientele of people. I would assume, families versus single people versus, age groups, things like that. But they're painting a very specific statistic. And unfortunately, that's what Variety has decided to go, yep, let's extrapolate that. We are gonna publish it, and bam, here we go. There we go. Oh,
so there you go. 25,000 titles across the U.S. amongst the panel of roughly 5,000 households and 14,000 individuals. So that is the stat that they're going off of 5,000 households and 14,000 individuals.
Well, everything's kind of like that. Nielsen was like that. It's a very, very small,
But this is how, and one, this is talking about time spent. This isn't even talking about viewership necessarily. This is talking about time spent. So, because then if you look at it, if you go back to it here, so if you look at it, because they said Godzilla was the biggest, right? So Wonder Woman here is clearly the biggest with time spent. Like when it comes to time spent, it has a huge, much bigger. It's double Godzilla versus Kong almost when it comes to time spent. So right in here is where Zack Snyder's Justice League would be. So out of the 5,000 households, apparently they weren't big Zack Snyder fans. Wow. Okay. Sad to see, I guess. And so that's the kind of that's what I mean. Like this third-party information comes out, and unfortunately now journalists are running with some of these numbers, and then it's causing people to be like, what are you talking about? And it's just causing this huge clash. And then this is where it really bugs me.
Yes. Fair enough.
Oh, here you
go. Sorry.
Should I play
See, Joe, the numbers don't lie.
There we go. We got to pay for this thing so we can actually do shit right.
So there's not like an awkward pause. One of these days, if we keep getting these super chats and members.
So then you have here, and I don't really want to put their names up here because I don't want people attacking them in any way and everything. But there's one guy, he's supposedly a blogger and everything, and he put Judas and the Black Messiah did better than the Snyder Cut, according to Variety. That is awesome for future market releases. I think this will convince HBO Max there's more original films for their streamer. That is such a disingenuous fucking way to say it. And it's such a lie because it has nothing to do with actual statistics. It was 5,000 households, 14,000 individuals. And this guy says that. And then another dishonest one, probably almost.
Well, again, even if you're saying it's 5,000 households, every source of measurement is like that. And, and then they say, okay, well, if it was 10,000 households, then the percentages would stay the same. That's kind of the concept behind it. But he's not even reading, or this individual is not even interpreting it correctly. That's not what the graph is saying at all. So even if you want to say, yes, this data is accurate, you have to at least be able to interpret it before you can then speak on it. So that's at least do that.
Is my curtain bugging you there, Shadow Vessel? Do I need to close it? I don't know. If it's bugging you guys, I'll close it. If the light reflecting off the wall.
Oh shit! No.
Other than that, I don't care. I don't care if my neighbors see in here. They see it. They're probably seeing worse, honestly. I don't give a shit. I Winnie the Pooh it around here. Anyway. And I even whistle the song. Winnie the Pooh. Anyway. So and then another one. Another one that's just really disingenuous. Another person says, again, this is another blogger, journalist, to all the people that said it, and he's talking about the Snyder Cut, to all the people that said it was breaking records left and right, all of WB HBO Max's biggest titles were bigger than the Snyder Cut. And he's basing it off this graph. And I'm just like, man. And then, I mean, I'm trying not to fall for like, this dude's clearly trolling. He is biting at it because he wants the freaking people. He wants people to snap at him. He wants people to quote tweet him. You know, he's probably going to put it on mute and then maybe go back later and be like, oh, look how toxic. I'm getting attacked by the Snyder bros. It's the cult. They're after me. Oh my God. Woo. But then you say asinine like this. And I almost freaking late. I just, there's every once in a while I'll do a tweet where I kind of lose it because it's something like basically Scott Mendelson, if you've ever seen any of my replies to him. But like where I get really angry. And like this one, I had it quote tweeted and I was typing all kinds of stuff and then I back out, delete. Then I go back and hit quote tweet again. I'm like, I'm going to run. Anyway. And then I back out again, delete Twitter. It again. I have probably like 15 drafts of this thing in Twitter right now because I probably didn't delete actually all of them. And it's just like, wow. See, and then you get disingenuous people like this stating these facts. And we don't know. What we got right now is the Snyder Cut did good. It did good. When you think about what happened with it, the fact that it's a property that got destroyed, like by name recognition wise, it got destroyed by the original Justice League from 2017. And it did good. It did from what we could see, has it blown Wonder Woman 84 out of the water? No. Did it come close? Yes. And Wonder Woman 84 was the first comic book movie and really the first new movie we got since this whole pandemic thing has happened. And it happened on Christmas. So there's a lot of things going in favor of Wonder Woman. Zack Snyder's Justice League came out on spring break when things have relaxed a little bit and more people were out and about doing things. So there's a lot of caveats to all this. And it still did really well. And the fact that it could continue is still a possibility. It's still out there. But WB, I think now, since the Ann Sarnoff thing, and this is just my personal opinion, have seemed to go almost to they will not acknowledge anything.
Yeah.
They will not mention a word about it now because they don't want to even reference it. They don't want to give the fans any inclination that they even care about what you think. Because now that's what they're doing. They're just going to ignore all of this. And we might find some information out in quarter one because they have to do a quarter one earnings call. And they're going to have to give all these statistics. And thankfully, Godzilla versus Kong came out on the 31st. So all you get is the 31st numbers. So they can't necessarily point to Godzilla versus Kong for a huge spike in subscriptions or viewership times or anything like that. Because mainly the one that dominated the month of March, at least when they look at third quarter stuff, is going to be Zack Snyder's Justice League. So those things have to be public. The information is going to come out, and we might get some information then, and we could truly see where it's at. But unfortunately, assholes like these won't wait. They're going to go off the smallest, minute third-party details to try to prove the fans wrong. And it's just disappointing to see. And it just proves, unfortunately, at the end of the day, that that people are going to get attacked and all this bullshit that Ann Sarnoff was talking about. The toxic fans. No, it's disgruntled fans. You have shit on everything they like. You started the multiverse, which led in the perfect door to do both things, and you've closed that door on that multiverse because you are stubborn and egotistical to no fucking end.
I think that comes back to the initial question about if the Snyderverse will ever be restored. And initially, I mean, we didn't think we would get the Snyder Cut at this point. So I was thinking, anything could happen at this point. But it is so weird to see they have stood their ground. They've decided this is where we're going. This is where we're going to go with the universe, regardless of numbers, things like that. They are going to paint a specific picture and say, nope, this is the narrative that we are sticking to. And I even think to a point, once we get the numbers, once things start to come out, either the narrative will still be continue to be controlled, or they are just going to again say, okay, well, that's fine, but we're going this route, and they're just going to ignore everything anyways. So it's kind of one of those, like, I don't know. I think unfortunately we may need to get another head involved, and have them start to try to bring it back. And right now it's weird because right now I feel like it would be perfect time. You're not too far gone. We don't have Flashpoint, which that's what people like Jody's Corner, and they think that that's going to fix everything. Now we can finally get away from Zack Snyder's Justice League, which maybe we will. But we're also not we're not so far gone that we can still reincorporate Zack Snyder's universe, and they're just deciding not to. I highlighted the comment earlier, but I think due to politics, just people wanting to go the route that they want to go. And this is a good one.
I think this is what you're talking about, Jose. Did they leave out March 18th? So this one here, conveniently, it says the debut for Zack Snyder's Justice League is March 19th, and has a 6.3%. And they've conveniently left out March 18th, which is when it premiered. And it was breaking servers, especially like Now TV in the UK. It was destroying Now TV because they couldn't even handle the traffic. But they've conveniently left that day out.
I think it's because they're designating what the opening weekend.
Yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Right.
Yeah, these are all Fridays.
Right.
These are. Well, actually, I don't think December 25th is a Friday.
It was, yeah.
Christmas was a Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Positivo?
Yeah, because I worked on Christmas Eve, which was a Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I have a real job, so I get Christmas
and got a half day that day. I remember.
You.
So, yep.
Man, you're so sad. You get your happy about your half days.
Tuesday. Yeah, that's fine. It's what it is. Careers and stuff. But yeah, it's again, that's just using specific data to try to paint your picture, and it's fine if that's the case. If Zack Snyder's Justice League was third behind Godzilla versus Kong and Wonder Woman 84, I still am strong on the stance of the marketing is what played a huge part. Think about Snyder was the one who was marketing this movie pretty much by himself. He was releasing trailers to try to tell the story of this is going to be a different movie. People still were not buying it. Imagine if Warner Brothers would have gotten behind this whole thing and said, okay, we are going to view the director's original vision. All the marketing I remember specifically for the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2 was all kind of around, see the original vision that the director intended, and blah, blah, blah. It was all this stuff pumping out the original vision, unedited, blah, blah, blah. And we didn't get any of that. We got trailers, we got teasers, and it was a word of mouth and a grassroots movement to tell people this is the difference between 2017 and this one. And people still weren't buying it. So I really feel that has a lot to do with maybe some of these numbers are accurate. Maybe Zack Snyder's Justice League was third, but I feel that is only at fault of the studio and not necessarily indicative of what the movie itself it represents and really what the performance could have been. It was released on HBO Max. Everything was done, again, grassroots movement. And I really feel that, okay, if this is the case, if we finally get the numbers and it's third in line, maybe it's fourth in line, maybe Judas, which I don't buy, but maybe it is, maybe it's fourth in line, then it's only at the fault yet again of the studio. And I don't think that it's the real indicator of what the future holds for this universe. Look at the numbers that Wonder Woman 84 did. It was getting panned, and they still greenlit a third one. So you can't tell me that it's, they're basing it off of critical reception or actual box office numbers and blah, blah, blah. No, they were confident. Yep, this is what we're going to get. If the studio wants to do something, they're going to do it. If they want to put money into something, they're going to do it. It's just very weird that, we thought that there was kind of a line of like, oh yeah, HBO Max they're going to push this. And I don't feel like that's really the case anymore. I feel like
HBO
for some
Max
reason,
did a little bit, but Warner Brothers did not.
But I mean to push to continue it. I feel like that to continue this whole thing, we were like, Jason Kilar and, everyone was in his corner and he hasn't said shit. And it's been weird. It's just been a weird kind of couple of weeks, month almost.
And the arrogance that I really noticed from people on Twitter. Because like when that graph came out, people were like, "Oh, the Snyder Bros are getting L's, man! Look at all these L's they're getting," and these journalists and stuff like that. I'm like, man, the utter arrogance. And I was like, man, this is why people don't like Americans too sometimes, because this is HBO Max statistics, meaning only people that have HBO Max, which guess what, is only Americans have HBO Max, and you are basing it completely off that when there's a whole freaking world out there of people that watch this damn movie.
Don't you know we're the center of that world, though?
Yeah, apparently. Apparently, the HBO Max numbers are the most important numbers. Because, like I said, in the Samba TV stuff was 1.8 million HBO Max viewings of the Snyder Cut.
Right.
That's just America alone. And I just found the utter arrogance of the comment. Like, people don't realize that HBO Max is exclusively only in the United States right now. It's almost going to be in Latin America soon. It's eventually going to hit the UK, but it's exclusively in the States right now. And if you think about it, Disney Plus is expanded out of those markets. So when they get their numbers for Falcon and Winter Soldier and WandaVision, that's including those other markets too. And it still beat them.
Yep.
And it still beat them with a platform only in the Americas.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I should probably know this, but I don't think it's out in China, right? It's out in like portions of China, but not in most of China. The Zack Snyder's Justice League. Am I wrong on that?
It's not even in China. No.
Okay. I thought I heard that there's portions
there was like HBO Asia and like
China that can get it. Yeah.
Well, there was like some weird things. There was like this weird statistic that was coming out where there was like this weird statistic coming out somehow that it was one of the most viewed movies in China, but it never had a China release. So it was like weird. I don't know how you can get those statistics. It's kind of like getting the statistics off of pirated movies.
Right. Well, yeah, actually that was one of the things that I was reading, and that there are, I believe that there are portions of China. I don't know how any of this shit works, so I could just be talking on my ass. But I remember reading something that there are portions of China that can get the movie legally, then the rest of it cannot, but they are still able to realize based on like, algorithms basically, and their version of Google, whatever that is, that it has hits, it's being pulled offline, and whether it's legally or not, it's getting the traction, and so they're able to look at the traction that way. But I don't know where any of this information is coming from, and maybe even the person that wrote it was talking out their ass. I'm not exactly sure, but that's also pretty, it's pretty telling that if it's not even in China, and that's a huge market, specifically, for these movies as well. Market. It's still was doing that. That's why, like, if it is third, if it's behind Godzilla versus Kong and Wonder Woman 84, I still think that's pretty badass. Like, and I don't even know if that's the case. I feel like it could be better than that. It is shown to be better than that. Like you said, it beat Falcon and Winter Soldier, it beat WandaVision, it's beaten Mandalorian, which all of those were Disney Plus's greatest accomplishments. And so, maybe Godzilla versus Kong is just gangbusters and people love it more than we do. I guess it's, it could be one of those things. Fine.
Well, I think people are also dying for content in general.
Yeah.
People just want to see new movies and stuff. But anyway,
think of everything surrounding it though. Everything surrounding this movie that, it's, if it still did those numbers with the lack of marketing, the fact that it's not in China, and all the other bullshit that was along with it, had to be a grassroots movement, word of mouth, us explaining to everyone, no, this is really what this movie is. People like us, I should say. And what do you mean, you people? But it's
what do you mean?
What do you mean, you people? But it's still, I still feel like it's impressive. And regardless of what the numbers are, I don't know if that's going to change the mind of the people that are in control. That's my main point. I think at the end of the day, regardless of what they are or not, they have decided that they are going to move forward because I think if they deem it successful one way or another, whether it's critically or financially or whatever the case, then or maybe not. Maybe they just go, oh yeah, maybe we'll give them a third one, and for political reasons or whatever the case may be, they're going to do it.
And that leads to somebody asking earlier, like, what's WB's problem with Snyder? And I mean, there's a lot of things that you can go through with this. It's just that, however they deem it. If you look at how Hamada and Sarnoff come in, mainly Hamada, is that their whole point, their existence, was because people got ousted because of what happened. And now they needed to get away from that as much as possible. So that's unfortunately how it is perceived. Their whole existence is based off the fact of, let's remove ourselves from the Snyderverse. So now to reintroduce that is completely against their programming, if you look at it that way. And when you look at like that Ray Fisher Hollywood Reporter article, there's one little bit that sticks out quite a bit. I mean, there's a lot of things that stick out, but there's one thing where Warner Brothers believed wholeheartedly that Snyder was manipulating Fisher into doing what he was doing this whole time. That he was gaslighting Fisher into doing these attacks against the studio. And if that's the type of paranoia that we're dealing with here from the studio executives. And there's even a moment where they talk about one of the articles where they said that, oh no, Ray Fisher wasn't cooperating with the investigation at all. That's even talked about in there as being an act of emotion. That's how it was perceived. That it wasn't true. It was inaccurate that he wasn't cooperating with it. And that it was, and they literally put it in there that the studio reacted with emotion. These are people in charge of the second biggest studio in the world, movie studio in the world. And they act like high schoolers. And they react like, oh, you're going to say shit about me. I'm going to talk shit about you. Like, without any evidence, without anything. They're just going to go at it. And that goes with all this stuff, really. It's like lack of evidence, lack of everything. Anyway, it's crazy. So it's just kind of weird anyway. Anyway, so that kind of perception.
What up, Liz?
What's up? And with that kind of perception of things, it's like, okay, well, that's why you start wondering, like, would Snyder even want to work with WB anymore? Would WB want to work with Snyder? It's this weird paradigm shift that you see, and it's just mind blowing, man.
Mind blowing indeed.
So then let's talk about Terrio.
Yeah, let's talk about blowing minds.
So Chris Terrio today unloaded a clip on WB today. It was Chris Terrio Unleashed. And I do like the, I think what was the highlighted comment here, the top one. Well, first off, the title is Justice League screenwriter Chris Terrio is super pissed off. that's what I was like. Well,
might be an understatement.
Pretty direct title. I guess there's no second guessing what this one's about, kids. Anyway, and one of the first quotes they pull up here on the top of it, the 2017 this is from Chris Terrio. The 2017 theatrical cut was an act of vandalism, Terrio said. Zack may be too much of a gentleman to say that, but I'm not. And yeah, this article basically proves that. And he doesn't just bitch about Justice League. He talks about Batman versus Superman as well, which that was something that I was truly surprised about.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of detail that was in this interview as well it was pretty cool. Like, he goes into detail about like some of the Africa scenes from BVS and talks about really what Warner Brothers wanted versus what he wanted. I mean, he did not pull any punches in this entire thing. I was kind of scrolling through a little bit looking
about Joss Whedon. Yeah, asking about Joss Whedon. I don't know Joss. I haven't talked to him. All right,
that's fair though. I don't think that's pulling punches.
Make shit up.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
You mean like Warner Brothers?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's he said what he was feeling. He didn't pull any punches. Some of the detail that was in this article was awesome. I thought it was it was really cool to kind of see someone just completely say, yeah, this is exactly where the studio messed up. The quote that I was looking for, which was a little bit further down, was when he was talking about the fact that they messed up from pretty much the title of Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice. That from that point on, you knew that there was going to be trouble because they were, and who knows, maybe that was Snyder who decided that this is going to be the name, but you knew that that's exactly where the studio wanted to go, that they were, there was marketing that was put in it. I'm fine with Batman v Superman. That's pretty cool. And I don't mind the title even of Dawn of Justice, but he brings up a fantastic point of exactly where the studio wanted to go, and that then they did not let up. Then it was, we're going to tell you how BVS is. We're going to cut a half an hour. And he talks like his analogy of, imagine cutting a half an hour of Argo. And of course, people are going to think it's dog shit. You're cutting all of the meat out of this movie and all the important aspects. And all that you care about is the expensive action scenes. That was another cool part when he was saying, when they've invested all this money into the cool action scenes, they're not going to cut that. Hell no, we're not going to trim that. We got to trim the dialogue.
He was saying that was the opposite. Usually, the more expensive things they try to trim out and cut down, the things that cost more money, the stunts and all that stuff. And then he's saying, but for some reason they went the other route and removed a lot of his crucial character moments and dialogue scenes. That was what I thought was kind of funny.
I like, and this is obviously where I got my name from. So when he was talking about kind of who was controlling the decisions, he said it was being controlled by money at the top of the pyramid. So not even necessarily the studio directly, but members on the board, investors, Wall Street guys. And he said, one guy who I can only describe as the man whose central casting sends you when you're trying to cash douchebag number one, pulled me aside and started telling me how to write Batman. I picture like the Monopoly guy. You must be the Monopoly guy. I'm going to tell you how to write Batman.
Oh, dude, I like my tweet. I just put survey says. I thought of a bunch of different people. I mean, I don't know. For some reason, there's a couple people that came to mind, but there's so many people behind the scenes that we just don't even know
exactly.
about.
I feel like this is probably not even someone we know. That it's probably.
I did think it was John Berg. To be honest, if anybody's ever actually seen a picture of John Berg, that dude is like fucking Uno. He's like douchebag extraordinaire, like looking guy.
I can see that. I can see that for sure.
Yeah. But, so the thing here about the title, Batman vs. Superman, Terrio even talks about in this article that it's probably a marketing ploy. But it does lead to people thinking that it's a punch fest between Batman and Superman when it was really a bigger story to it. And that's one of the biggest complaints that we see people talk about it. For Batman vs. Superman, there's only 8 minutes of fighting between Batman and Superman out of a 3-hour movie. That's one of the biggest things. And that's kind of his point was like, you call it Batman v Superman, obviously, for marketing reasons, which makes complete sense, when you're going to do it. But when you think about it, how the story is constructed and what they expected in a story,
story. Thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you so much there. Steve.
I know.
And when you think about that stuff, it makes sense. And the Dawn of Justice thing, I remember Snyder talking about, and I think it was like that Collider interview with that Weintraub guy, was that he basically was kind of like, working with the title to try to, he was giving WB a certain title to be more marketable, to be more potential, to do certain things. Because I think he was almost saying that, I could be wrong on this, I can't remember right, but it was like, he wanted to kill Superman, and they're like, and he's like, well, we could add Dawn of Justice in the thing, so that means it leads perfectly into the Justice League. And they're like, oh, okay. I kind of vaguely remember that's how he described it, was that it was kind of, he kind of gave one thing, kind of obviously a very on-the-nose title to the studio to get something he wanted in the movie. If I remember right, I think that's what it was. On this, but I get what Terrio's saying, because that's one of the biggest complaints is about the it being only 8 minutes of fighting, but you called it Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, and this also really told the story about the lack of direction that this studio had. And we have kind of gone back and forth about, initially saying, yep, they wanted to play catch up with Marvel, which we knew to a point they did. But then also at a certain point, it was like, well, actually, Snyder wanted to go in this direction as well. He had this 5-movie arc that he had painted out of like, yeah, this will get us there. We can spin off all these solo movies. And then Terrio talks about really the lack of direction, that he was trying to kind of get an idea. I believe it was for Justice League, of like Themyscira and certain things that he was writing when,
the quote was conform to this list of movies, I believe was the direct quote. Conform to the movies coming out. Like Snyder had this 5-movie arc planned, but like his arc was kind of like loosely based off of very little things that could have happened in other movies. Because remember, like Captain Cold was supposed to be in there, which was supposed to be the original villain in the Flash movie that was supposed to come out in 2018.
Right.
Like that was just to connect those movies. Like he just has, he has them in there. It's just these weird things that, like, while there was some direction and Snyder was trying to make a plan, at the same time, they just didn't take anything freaking serious.
Right. And there was real, again, to what Matt was talking about earlier, there's certain things that we're going to talk about and kind of formulate in an upcoming episode. But this is that exact direction of Warner Brothers had no direction. You're so good to us. You are too good to us.
I mean, when you think about Batman v Superman, I get it. It's what a lot of people were saying about Birds of Prey, because it was like Birds of Prey and the Immaculate. What is it? The Immaculate, whatever the hell it is. Something
Conception? No. Immaculate Conception. Emancipation of one Harley Quinn.
Yeah, Quinn's. Yeah, like all that crap, right? And then it had a terrible opening weekend, and then they changed it to Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, something.
Right.
For search results and everything.
Yep. Marketing.
People are like, "Oh, now they did it." The dumbasses.
Yeah,
and it's so,
the Harley Quinn movie.
Yeah, I get it. If you're gonna have a movie with Batman and Superman, having Batman versus Superman in your title is a very, very compelling thing to have, and search-wise, an amazing thing to have. But when you look at your script that you've had forming, that you tell Terrio to write, and it really doesn't have that element as well. I mean, it's obviously a main element to the movie, but when it's kind of like, that's not really technically what the movie's about. Like, it's not like Godzilla versus Kong, where they had 3 rounds against each other. Remember that? It's like round 2 goes to Kong,
Yeah.
It wasn't this like back and forth all the time. It was all centered around the end and what was going to happen to Bruce at the end. And obviously the death of Superman. Spoiler. Point.
Right.
So
just in case.
And one of the things here that's crazy when he talks about how the theatrical cut got butchered down, and he talked about how much it hurt. It was the criticism that the script was, one of the criticisms was the script wasn't coherent, because I turned in the script to the studio, which they, by all accounts, were happy with, and it made sense. That script made sense, but then they cut down 30 minutes and destroyed it. So obviously now it doesn't make sense. And that's one of the things that drove him nuts, was that his stuff keeps getting butchered. And he said, for the first time since Argo, this was Zack Snyder's Justice League was the first movie where his script actually was used. And I was like, oh, you're not going to bring up Rise of Skywalker at all? Like, I was kind of hoping. I was like, throw in Rise of Skywalker in here too. Be like, I'm curious what the hell. I'm curious what the hell's going to happen here with that.
The only thing I can think of too, or maybe not the only thing, but it just goes back to, yes, we criticize Kevin Feige and we criticize the MCU movies, but at least there's the Vince McMahon. Like, at least there's one guy who's like, nope, we are going to write the action scenes for you. And it's like,
well, it's structure. It's just,
exactly.
We all crave some structure, and WB's promising that, and they've been promising it forever.
Yep.
And
they're promising it again. We have a plan. We have a plan that we don't have a plan, that it's all gonna work out. The multiverse. I'm not even confident in this multiverse anymore. At one point, I was like, okay, that would be awesome. We can have our cake and eat it too. We can have, if you want to play in this realm, and we have the Snyderverse over here, and we can do all these different things. Yeah, awesome. And now I'm kind of like, wow, this is gonna be a shit show. if they're trying to like drop little Easter eggs and everything. And again, they're instead of carving their own niche, instead of forming their own identity, they are just trying to copy what Marvel's doing.
Don't say exactly. That's what I mean. Like, I was like, I've heard some things, but I'm not going to say them. Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. One thing here that I thought was, God damn it. There we go. One thing I thought I didn't know about this, so I don't know if you knew about this, Shane, and I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of people in the comments like, how did you guys not know about this? Fucking, stupid. Anyway.
Stupid super chats.
I'm the water boy. I got a wooden spoon. Anyway, so he's talking about, I guess he saw a criticism about the Lois Lane comment saying, I'm not a lady, I'm a journalist in the beginning with the Africa Niobe scene.
I knew this. Of course. Go on.
Anyway. So he talks about that, and apparently there was a criticism that it was proof that and proof of my stupidity and my inability to write Lois or write at all. Like, apparently somebody went after that one. I was like, man, after all the criticism I saw, I didn't see anybody bitch about that one. But all right, to each his own, I guess. I don't know. But if you saw the criticism, you saw the criticism. But he talks about how he literally pulled this quote straight from an actual reporter, an actual journalist,
an actual female journalist.
Yeah, named Maria Colvin, I believe, Colvin. And her reply, because she was actually meeting up with a Chechen warlord, and he refused to shake her hand because she was a woman. And her reply was, there is no woman in this room, only a journalist. And that was his interpretation of that with Lois Lane. And I'm like, wow, like that shows what a writer is supposed to do. Yeah. Like, and to have these moments. And it just shows how sometimes these lines, even us, the people that love it, just go over our fucking head. And stuff. We just think it's a cool line.
Yeah, exactly. We took it at face value, and there was, and I love it even more. I love Snyder. I always love Snyder's version and Terrio's version of Lois Lane. I always have, and it makes it hard. I love Margot Kidder, but it makes it hard to go back and watch that version. Because to me, this version of Lois Lane is superior. She's a badass and not an over the top strong woman that's in your face and like, oh, see equality. Yeah, it's none of that. It's just she's just a badass. She's awesome. She's an investigative reporter. She drops those lines like that, and now I love it so much more that it had even that meaning that was pulled from real life. Like, that's from an actual person. It's not just some cool line that he came up with.
Exactly. Don't, man, trust me, we get those comments all the time. Like, I thought you were supposed to be real Snyder. Like, when we had one when we were really tired and like almost that's all our streams. Yeah. And I think by the end we were talking about Army of the Dead. And I forgot about a certain thing that was in Army of the Dead, which is funny because the people are like, oh, you don't know the movie. You're supposed to be Snyder fans. So I was like, man, I know more about Army of the Dead than you think. Like, it's just stuff we can't really say, but we know more about it than you. Just because I accidentally made this, I made this one, huh? Yeah, you do. Shut up.
Trying to play coy.
Anyway, and you're telling me that freaking, oh yeah, that was Tex, huh? Hey, what's up, man? I didn't even realize that.
No, you didn't?
No, I was just like, oh, that's a perfect
example. You didn't even realize that, Matt? Damn.
Yeah, see, I didn't realize. Why'd you say that name? Anyway. Yeah, no, it's and it's just like
I saw it. Fantastic.
Oh, I'll give you credit for it, Comic Movie Crate, but I'm going to use that in a future video when we talk about certain things. I'm going to modify it a little bit and change it up a little bit, but yeah, that's going to be used in a future movie or a future video. Just what are you doing, man? You're crazy. Master.
Heinrich Jaubert.
Oh, I remember that douche.
Man.
He is number one douchebag.
Yep. What do we call him? Heinrich Jailbait?
Yeah, we were calling him like Heinrich Jailbait.
Dude, that is...
Dude, Justin, you've been around way too long.
Right in the feels. That hits me right in the feels. That is classic.
I forgot about that guy.
Troll war that we had. Man, that's good stuff. That is good stuff.
Man, that is 2017, I think. I think he was bitching ass about Thor Ragnarok. If I remember right.
Yeah, sounds right. And was he the one who was mad that we couldn't we kept saying Taika Waititi?
Yeah. You're not saying his name right. It's not Taika Waititi. Really?
Really? You don't say.
Yeah, I would have never guessed. Well, shit. Fuck me sideways. If you want to class it right there, fuck me sideways and charge me $10 for shipping. There we go. That's a classic right there. If anybody remembers that one.
Oh man.
Anyway, yeah. So, oh man, was it 2016?
2016. Holy shit.
Oh man,
that's good stuff. That is good stuff.
But so yeah, so obviously that's an awesome comment. That's a cool little factoid, if you will, about this thing. What else would happen here?
I lost where we were. I think you were talking about something, and then we
I was. Yeah, we totally lost it there after nostalgia. Justin's thing. We had to use our brain power to remember back to that guy.
Oh man, yeah, that's weird. Shit, I don't remember how many new memberships to get Shane's first time. Which first time? I don't remember this shit. Come on.
You don't remember it? I remember it.
I'm old. I do remember, and I mentioned this last time. Yeah, three memberships, and I'll tell you, I remember one of my earliest ones. I don't remember if it was the first, but I remember one of my earliest ones. Fuck it. If we get one more member, I'll just tell you. I told it on the last episode, and then it just Matt was smart enough to to whore out like memberships, and I did not do that at all. I just gave it away for free,
like everything else. Yeah. Exactly. Okay, so here, fill in some time while I try to get us back on track here.
Shit. All right. So, yep, Taikawa, TTTTT. Yep, let's talk about him a little bit, I guess.
I mean,
I don't know. So apparently, some people are like big fans of this guy, and I barely was familiar with him at all when
I knew him from the Green Lantern movie. That was it.
Yeah,
that's I didn't know he was even a director. Like, I just knew him from the freaking Green Lantern movie. Apparently just adding an extra T on his name was just apparently the worst thing we could ever do.
This would be funny, but I have 4 kids. All right, so I had to do it somehow, unless I just have power, pretty much. And then I trapped her. So just that.
I remember all of Shane's stories.
The good and the bad. And the impotent.
The determination this guy has back when he was young to get some. He used to drive a great distance and miss stop signs.
You do what you got to do as a teenager. You get a, and especially as teenage nerds, you get a little bit of girl loving and keep going back for more.
And more. Get a new car because ran the stop sign. Get more.
Oh man. Oh. Are we back on track yet? Come on.
I've been trying.
I can know. Have you really?
So one of his comments about Josh was, I never met Josh. I don't know him. I did reach out to him at the beginning of the process, but he didn't. But I didn't hear back. So that's his comment about Josh. So he just kind of right over the top of that bad boy.
I do like the fact that he talked about, he is not necessarily afraid of criticism. Does not appreciate. I am part Canadian.
This was before Jojo Rabbit, just to let everybody know. This was right after he did Thor Ragnarok, when we were making fun of his name. Like, yeah.
No, it was before. It was like when Ragnarok was in production. We were making fun of his
maybe.
Name.
I don't remember.
Yeah, like articles were coming out. We're like, oh, okay, apparently this is the director. And then, we were making fun of it. Because especially at that time, we still suck with names, but we really sucked with names.
Well, we didn't get crap then.
And now we can edit it out. We can do a quick Google search. Before, we would just, record the podcast and then laugh about it. And that was kind of it. We didn't have bloopers, none of that good stuff. But shit, now I forgot where I was going with
I know where I'm going with this. Anyway, so one of the funniest things was after he watched he watched an early screening of the 2017 Justice League. And as soon as it was over, he called his lawyer to get his name removed from the credits. And apparently they already sent out everything, all the discs, all the other crap and everything. So they sent all that stuff out already with his name attached. So it would have been, he put like, it would have been an international scandal and news story. So I shut up and said nothing publicly. So I guess, oh shit, man. What's up, Shawnee? Tell me your first time. My sorry for the man.
Oh man! All right, I shit. I guess that's
the first time of what though? That's what I'm trying to figure out. They keep saying first time.
My first time wasn't all that. Like it lasted maybe 6 minutes, and I was like,
well,
"Oh, this is cool." My mom was at church, and then we did it again the second day in the shower for the first time. So that's my first time.
And then what happened after that, Shane?
And
no, never mind. I don't want to bring up old wounds.
we share those wounds together.
I just thought something was slightly funny out of that,
so,
as I remember.
Anyways, hold on. Let me finish my thought real quick because I remembered it about. So the fact that Terrio was not necessarily mad about the criticisms towards BVS and the script and things like that. He was mad about the unnecessary fact that people were saying he can't write a coherent story, and it was chopped to shit. So it was the studio to blame. It was.
Because your mom was at church.
Yep. It was a Sunday. So it was a bright sunny day.
Sunday.
Exactly.
Man, I wish we could tell the whole story if we got really personal. Okay? Man, like the long-term game this kid played for this. I can't even tell you guys. But the patience of this. I'm circling him with my mouse right now.
I had to break the ice. Out of all the friends, someone had to commit, have the long-term goal, and I was willing to do that. And then, Matt was. I don't even know if Matt's was smart, but then our one of our good friends, Mike, he's been on the show before. He was like, "Yeah, I just did it with like the first person who I could."
Whoever said, "Yeah,"
read it.
Yeah, that was exactly that was me as well. It was like the first person I just happened to trip
at a arcade.
No, it wasn't at the arcade.
An arcade, but that's where you met, right?
It was summer school for me. It was a summer school.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What? No.
Yeah, you're remembering this wrong.
I feel like
because of the arcade. Because of the arcade, my numbers doubled from 1 to 2. But without that arcade, I would be sad. But no, the first time was because of summer school. It was this chick.
Summer school was good.
This chick, she kind of looked like a rat. She had a really big nose and shit. And
hey, got to do what you got to do.
Exactly.
So
gave her a good stopping point when she was like,
Batgirl from the. I don't think that's what stopped her. Just
no more road to travel.
Batgirl was one of my earliest ones I remember, and it was before. How many people have we lost all of our viewers yet? It was before anything came out. I do specifically remember that. And like, oh, okay. And then when something did come out for the first time, it was like, oh, dang. We do what we can.
Oh my! I mean, there's some people laughing, so that's good. Anyway,
I guess.
So to kind of end this out, Terrio's happy about Zack Snyder's Justice League because any critiques towards that film is actually his movie. Unlike Justice League, unlike Rise of the Skywalker, this is actually his movie. So he can actually, I guess, as he was saying, this is the type of criticism he can handle because his script wasn't butchered. If anything, that's the actual critique of my work. That's fair game, is what he said. And I mean, there's a lot more stuff here that we're leaving out. And
if you haven't already, you got to read the article. It's really good. Like we probably could have done this entire show on just talking about every single quote. Man. We may not have a lot of followers, but we got the best followers for sure.
Put coins in the machine. What machines are you guys talking about? Jesus.
Oh man. Chinese chicken in the room starts sticking. Or...
See, Joe, the numbers don't lie.
Oh man.
And then I had this one planned here because it was Godzilla, and I totally forgot to use this clip, but I'm going to use it now here for the end since we're wrapping up anyway. But here we go.
Just kidding. That's one of my favorite.
I think I need a bigger box.
Classic.
There we go. Thank you. That 99-cent donation always.
Boom. Love it.
Oh man, dude, I when I was thinking about Godzilla, I do that at work all the time. Like when we're talking about Godzilla, like lizard. So I had to just bring that up. I missed that Chihuahua.
Oh man.
Anyway, holy 90s, hell yeah. That's our
Holy 90s,
Godzilla
Batman.
tribute. That's our Godzilla tribute
Just
right
kidding,
there.
just kidding. Brought me back.
And oh man, dude, yeah, read the Terrio script. I mean, again, some people, it's just man, it's a weird time, man. It's a really weird time. And whether or not the Snyderverse continues, only time will tell at this point. It's a weird thing. I still question sometimes, if Snyder even wants to do it. That's kind of like where I always come back to is like, would Snyder even want to do it? Would Affleck even want to do it? Even if they were, given the situation, it's just like, man, it's really hard to believe that those particular guys would still even want to deal with these assholes. Like I saw a great tweet, and I wish I could find it again, but it was basically, maybe I have it bookmarked here, but to sum it up, in case I don't have it bookmarked, was the person compared, Netflix, the guy that handles content for Netflix, and compares, the Aaron Saronoff quote and like other ones. And it's just like, or no, it was not the Aaron Saronoff quote. It was the Snyder quote talking about how much they remember they wanted to put rules on the Snyder Cut before it even came out. And it's like, they want to put rules on this. He's like, it's the Snyder Cut. It's not supposed to have rules. It's supposed to be my cut, not your cut that you think I should have. And, and the peace on.
I know people are recollecting already.
Yeah. And then it was like Netflix was like, oh, we're glad to have Snyder, giving him anything, carte blanche, handcuffs off, all this stuff. And it's like, the tale of two different things here. And it's like, man, it's tough, man. It's really tough. It's tough being a DC fan. It really is. Yeah. I'm like, at one point I was like, made the joke at work. I'm like, you know what? I think we're just going to become a Marvel channel because it's so much easier. Like, it takes way less work. They're much easier to talk to. Yeah. Like, you could just say dumb shit like out of nowhere and people believe you, and they just like.
I really loved the Captain Marvel green suit that she had. That one was awesome, and
it was very form-fitting.
Right, yeah, it was form-fitting. Really, unfortunately, showed off her assets a little. Too
I
much.
Laughed so hard at this moment when I can't even think of a crappy time when. I don't know.
When Drax was invisible. Oh, the humor just hit the nail on the head. Boom. And look, I saw our numbers started jumping. They're good.
See, we started talking about Marvel. Boom. We jumped up like 12
Here we
people.
Go.
See guys,
you guys thought we were done. Shoot, maybe this is the way to go. So Falcon and Winter Soldier,
Dark Horse Comics. I mean, we'll just start doing Vertigo and shit. Dark Horse, fucking,
or.
Oh, we only got like so many episodes,
right? Yeah, exactly. Before they get boring and kids start popping out. But the ones that are good.
Oh, there's some that are some. God damn. Anyway, I don't know. I missed that arcade. Anyway, maybe I should go reapply as a 33-year-old man.
I was debating telling like one of my favorites, but I'm maybe another time. One of my favorite stories that's also incredibly embarrassing And
for you or me?
Yeah, no, for me. It was definitely for me. one more show. What are you not getting? I have multiple kids. I could just tell you those.
See, we started talking about our shit, and it went back down. So the Marvel,
the Marvel stuff is the way to go.
It's the key.
Just kidding. They're all adopted. They're not even mine. Have you ever seen Me, Myself, and Irene? It's kind of like that. Just kidding.
Wrestling. No. Oh man, there's some. Okay, I'll give you guys one story to go, and this is
yes. Since our viewers are falling anyway, so boom,
yeah.
Get it in quick.
So if we get just for the shits and giggles for DF or DJAF's 99-cent donation, well, I'll tell this story. I don't even know if it's funny, to be honest. I may not even be that funny. I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it. Well, I'm just starting questioning it because I just don't know if it's that funny. I don't know if I could tell the story. Anyway, okay, so let's just say after high school. Well, was it after high school? I don't know. I can't remember.
This is going really bad. But go on.
Well, no. So there's this one particular. I was just trying to. Yeah, it had to be after high school. So I was kind of just looking for anything that walked, and it was kind of a thing at the moment. I don't know. I think I've told you this story. Anyway, and
so there's criticizing me for doing this.
No, I said you drove great distances.
Okay.
This was downtown.
And yours walked. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Well, and also, exactly. I was the better man in this story.
Exactly.
I was the better man in this story. Anyway, but so this girl that I kind of talked to, which she was all right. She wasn't the, she was, she's rolling around a 5. All right. Out of 20. Anyway. And I get a text saying, my mom is gone for the weekend. You should come over. And I was like, hot diggity damn. It's after high school. I'm in like a 2-month drought. I'll go for it. like I'm in. And I go over there, and let's just say that she was, I don't know if anybody's going to be able to understand this, but she opens the door and she's wearing like SpongeBob pajamas. And it just kind of threw me off. It was like, is this a kid? Like it kind of threw me off. And it's not really what I was expecting to see when I opened the door. And
for some, was it SpongeBob lingerie?
No,
at least.
No. They were straight up pajamas. They were pajamas, man. And I was like, all right. And then things start getting closer, and and she's like wanting to watch a movie, and she's picking these really crappy ones, and she starts getting closer, and
then you just hear the laugh,
and then like she starts breathing on me, and holy shit, man, that stuff was bad. And I was thinking, like, man, I come over here, I'm coming over, your breath stink, you're wearing fucking SpongeBob pajamas. And I'm like, what else is going to go wrong here if I go any farther south? Like, that's kind of what's going through my head. and I'm just like, all right, you know what? God damn it. I remember and then we go to her bedroom, and it finds out she has bunk beds because apparently she has a sibling that's not there. So it's this little bunk bed. I'm me. I was a lot skinnier back then, but I'm still 6'2" at the time. In this little bunk bed with this woman. And at one point, she kind of breathes on me again. She says something really stupid, and I can't remember what it was, but it was really late. It was like 1 a.m. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to sleep on the floor, and I'll leave in the morning. And she just kind of like looks at me, and I just move over, get on the floor, put a sweater under my head, and fall asleep. Wake up like at 7 a.m., drive away, never say a word. I never talked to her again. Man. I ended up running into her later on, like much later on. And she kind of gave me, she kind of looked at me. She's like,
SpongeBob.
All right, I was technically, we graduated when we were 17. So anyway.
We did.
And I just drove off. And I remember I saw her later on, and she came up to me. She's like, I just want to tell you, I forgive you. And I'm like, all right. And I walked away. I don't remember her name, nothing. I didn't even know it was her until later.
Forgive you.
Yeah, she put, I forgive you. Anyway,
this is awkward.
So there you go.
Oh man.
So see, I was the bigger man. I walked away. You kept going back.
I don't really have stories like that. Mine were more of like, all right, how quick can we do this? Oh man, I'll save mine for next week.
Yeah, I don't. She was the same age assholes as me. It was just weird. I don't know.
I put her to bed. It's all right. Let's tuck you in.
Yeah, I'm sure you do too. I mean, we could all just do a podcast on that. Just fucking after hours.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So today on the Real Emotion Movie Marks
After Dark. And so yeah, that's one. I got a bunch of those though. I got a couple of those.
I still stand by. We have the best fan. You guys are awesome.
Maybe that's why she said, "I forgive you."
Oh my God. Oh man.
I didn't even notice this account in here.
Yeah, I noticed it.
Oh, I didn't notice it at all. It shows how much I was. I just saw that. Anyway, so there you go. Gave you guys one last little exploit story. I got more. Oh man.
The Perpetual Motion podcast. Oh man.
I think I saw someone when's the next video. Yeah, when's the next video? We got a lot of videos planned ahead. It's whenever Shane gives up his real job for this awesome job.
I know.
Now we're gonna work on it. We got things planned, guys. It's just unfortunately right now live streams are like the only thing we can do. But hopefully we'll get shit together here and we'll be able to put out some hopefully pretty entertaining ones because I got some great ideas for this.
What's up? Oh, sorry. What's up, Brian? Sorry, you're joining just as we're wrapping up. Yeah, Patreon sexy time stories,
dude.
There we go.
Oh man, dude. Good times, yeah.
I don't like the way that you're like, like you're about to go reminisce right after.
Oh, I am. I am gonna go reminisce just before bed. Dad, I remember going to San Jose, going to Great America. Oh man, that jacuzzi. Anyway, if you ever go to that jacuzzi in the Great America Hotel there, that's right next to the hotel, or the hotel right next to Great America, and that jacuzzi, be careful. Anyway,
some things have happened. All right,
guys.
Yep, and lit a cigarette.
I don't know. I always thought it. I don't know. You chat. Let me know if I made the right call on that. Does that just not seem weird to you guys? Like,
yeah,
all that stuff. And it was just like, I just don't. Just some things you don't want to stick your dick in. Anyway,
because you're not sure if it's coming back out.
And then, yeah. Anyway, all right. That'll wrap it up, guys. In case I don't see you.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.